Okay, so we're going to create a flight plan. So we click flights, we then do flight plan. We then select, and we need to select the airport from where we are going to depart. So I'm in the United Kingdom, I select Birmingham. And then I say OK. But I need to select where I'm going to start from. So I'm going to depart from gate 50. So gate 50, OK. I then need to select the airport I'm going to, which will be Cardiff. And I say OK. I'm going to fly by instrument flying rules. Now I need to find the route. That initially will be a direct route from Birmingham to Cardiff. Now the map on my system displays only in blue. This is due to the fact that I have got the whole of the UK photographic IFR scenery loaded on my system, and it seems to affect this map. On your system it could well be a different view of this area, although all of the waypoints, all of the airports, all of these various things are shown on the map are all accurate and will be the same. Okay, now I want to amend my route, so I can zoom in if I wish to here, and I want to go to the first waypoint here, GOS. So if I drag my line over and then let it go, I can go to Gloucestershire Airport, Gloucestershire DME, Gloucestershire NDB. I'm going to go to Gloucestershire DME. Okay, that's now put that in between Birmingham and Cardiff. If I now scroll down the map a bit further, you can see that this is the ILS approach for Cardiff, this green arrow. Now, to get into that, I need to give myself a smoother approach. So I'm going to take a waypoint down here. This happens to be Bristol. I wouldn't normally fly directly over Bristol Airport, but for the purpose of the video we will select that area, and then I can select Bristol Airport or Bristol NDB. So I shall select Bristol NDB. Okay. Now, the final approach into an ILS is normally undertaken on what is called a STAR, a standard arrival procedure. But unfortunately in FSX, the GPS system and the map system doesn't take into consideration any stars. However, I can create for myself a smoother entry into this ILS. If I zoom in on it, make it a little clearer. This is the ILS approach. If I fly straight down that green arrow, I will find the runway. If I drag that in line with that ILS, it will create a waypoint for me, one that I have created. It isn't any name to it. And then I can drag another one and let it go, and I can have another one and let it go. And so now I have a nice gentle curve onto my final approach. I want my cruising altitude to be 12,000 feet, and I say OK. I want to now save that plan. I have created this before, so I'm going to overwrite it, and then it will move my aircraft to the position I've set. If I so wish, I will say yes. So now I'm back in the aircraft, and now I can select my GPS system. So I want Views, Instrument Panel, GPS. Now I can move the GPS to any convenient position, and I can resize it to any convenient size. And if we look first of all on the screen, we can now see that I have a pink line which is actually my route. So I am now at Birmingham, and that is the route I wish to follow. Now I can alter the scale of this. At the moment it is showing 10 miles ahead of me, but I can go 15, 20, 25, so on until I can see whatever scale I want, and I can see the entire route. Now I can also alter the direction of that route. In other words, the way I'm looking at it at the moment, that is the route that is in front of me. But I can change that view, and I can have the route so that it is geographically correct now. So north is now up, south is straight down, west to my left, east to my right. Again, I can alter that, and so you can see that I'm now flying from Birmingham down the lines to Cardiff. It's pink here because that is the first section of the route. This will change colour as I fly. The GPS system has an irritating thing connected with this message system. It continuously tells you that there's a message for you. It involves what flying rules are involved, the area over which you are flying. That isn't going to concern us on this flight. So if you wish to get rid of that, press the button for message and then press it again. That will now stop flashing. Now I can again look at my route here by amending the scale. At the moment you can see that it's about 100 miles route, and I can alter that route and I can look in greater or lesser detail at what I want. Now we are going to take off on a runway of our decision at the moment because we are not involving anything with ATC, and when we take off, irrespective of whichever runway direction I take off, I am going to have to turn to pick that route up. So if I go north, I'm going to turn left. If I decide to go south, I'm going to turn right. Now because the autopilot will be linked to the GPS, once I have taken off, all I need to do is to select automatic navigation, and the autopilot will know where this route is and will turn the aircraft in order to connect with that route. Now for the purpose of the video, I'm going to change my view of the route, and I'm going to have it so that it will eventually be directly in front of me. Now it's not in front of me at the moment because the position that I am parked at the airport is with the route I want to have to my right. But when I have taxied out to the runway, it will eventually show that it is ahead of me or behind me, depending whether I take off north or south. We'll look at that as we get there. Now, as in the previous video, the first thing I need to do is to set some parameters for the aircraft. I need to dial in an altitude because it will be at 0 to start with, and so I will put in an initial altitude of say 4,000 feet. If I then look at the instrument here, I should see 4,000 feet set. It now has 4,000 feet set. I then need to set my initial climb out speed, which I will set at 235. And make sure the power is turned on to the throttles. Okay, for the purpose of the video, we've now found ourselves directly on the runway waiting for takeoff. You'll see now with the GPS that I'm heading north and my route is going to be behind me to my left. So, check all the parameters of the aircraft, all engines running, nose slightly up. Indicated airspeed for the initial climb 235 selected, altitude set 4,200. I just moved it was on 4,000. Okay, let's take off. is select autopilot, navigation, indicated airspeed, altitude. Check heading selection. Okay, reset altitude to 12,000 feet. Check rate of climb. About 1,800 feet a minute will be fine. Switch nav on. And then we should follow our route. The aircraft is now turning to the left and will automatically pick up our route. The route is somewhere behind us now, as we've spent a few minutes flying out on the runway heading. But as this moving map rotates, we will eventually see the red line, and that is where the aircraft will head for. Presently passing through 4,500 feet, climbing to 12,000. I can alter the scale of this map so that I can see more of it. There's our red line, and the aircraft has now come off the runway, left turn, and we're heading back to this pink line. As you can see from this view, there is little, if anything at all, that we can see of the ground. So we are relying now totally on our instrumentation. Passing through 6,200. Now, whilst we're in this steady climb, we can look at our flight plan and we can see the distances we have to go. So we have 35 from, that is from Birmingham, 35 to Gloucester, 74 I think it is to Bristol, and so on. So 96 miles is the total distance of the flight. A very short flight. In fact, it's so short that just about when we reach 12,000 feet, we shall have to begin our descent. We won't have very much time in the actual cruise. Passing through 9,500 for 12,000. Speed around about 230. As we are now through 10,000 feet, I can increase my speed above 250. I'll set it for 275. The aircraft will now automatically accelerate to 275. You can probably hear the engine spooling up. now at 12,000 feet, level at 12, and we're doing about 270. Now we're not far off our intercept point, and when we reach this peak line, the aircraft will turn gently to the right. This is all fully automatic because we have autopilot navigation linked to the GPS. We will begin our descent just after we pass Gloucester. So as I get near Gloucester, I will enter a new descent altitude. Okay, we're very close now. If I increase this zoom, we're very close to the intercept point, and if we look at the aircraft here, you will see it's beginning to make a very gentle turn to the right to pick up that route that I have preset in the GPS. You see what I mean about this message? Now, it's good practice, although we're on auto, you can see the heading here is going to be around about 205 degrees. It will show you up here the heading that the aircraft is on, automatic. And it's not a bad idea to go to the instrument and set the heading to the same as the heading that the aircraft is going to be on. You can see now it's about 210. Now I'm going to set my heading to 210. Now the reason I do that is if for any reason there was a fault developed between the guidance system and the autopilot, I would know my last heading. If I then switch the autopilot to heading instead of navigation, it would continue on my last heading. Okay, so we're making progress. We've only got 7 miles to GOS now. 67 total, so we have about 60 miles to run from GOS to Cardiff. Now I need to tune in the ILS frequency for Cardiff. I can find that out by going to map view and looking at the airport, and that will give me the information. I did that previously and I know that it is 110.70. So that is the ILS frequency. Now I also need the course of the runway, which is 301. So I'm going to set 301 here. And as I've now reached GOS, I'm going to start my descent. So I'm going to dial in only 2,400. Now the intercept height for Cardiff is 2,200. but I'm going to go down to 2004 initially. That will give me a couple of hundred feet to make a final alteration as I get close. And I need to go down at around about 1800 feet a minute as well. So I've set my down at 1800 feet, 2400. You can see the aircraft pitching down now. And I need to slow my aircraft down. I'm going to slow it to 260, sorry, to 210, and I can come back and forth these instruments until I set all the parameters that I need. So it's now going to be set 2004. I'm going down at 1900 feet, and I'm going to put some speed brakes on. It's this lever here. That back to about 30%. That will slow my descent. And I can check on my map as to where I am. I need to be around about 2,500 feet by the time I get to Bristol. I will have time from Bristol to go a little lower if I haven't reached it, but that's what I'm aiming for. Look, I'm set for 2,200 and I'm just passing 10,000. I have speed brakes applied at the moment and I'm doing about 220, 230. I'm aiming for about 210 at the moment. Reset this to 2004 at the moment. Now, whilst we're in the descent, we need to think about this. At the moment, we are set on nav. In other words, the aircraft is navigating to a prescribed route. When I get closer to the airport, I'm going to switch this to LOC VOR, Localizer VOR. Now I've tuned the localizer for the airport, for the ILS. If I switch that to localizer, it will then find that localizer and turn towards it. Once I have picked that localizer up, I will then be looking for the glide slope. That is the angle at which I need to approach the runway. When I'm locked onto the localizer, I can switch this to GS Auto, and the system will then follow both the localizer center line of the runway and the glide slope to it. Just so that we are aware of what is going to happen in a few minutes' time. Passing through 7,000 feet, 6,800. Speed is dropping to around 200. Going to lower my speed, going to reset the speed now to 185. I still have speed brakes applied at the moment to ensure that I slow down to that required speed. Passing through 5,400. aiming for 2004. Speed just over 200 at the moment. We're still in descent. Now we're beginning our curve of entry into the ILS. As we approach this point, the aircraft will begin to turn. So I'm now over Bristol, but in view of the weather, I can't see it. Monitor the speed, 200, 4,003. I have 2,000 feet to fall in. Aircraft is now turning automatically to the next heading of the pink line. Now my final intercept height is going to be 2,200. I'm now at 3,007, so I'm going to reset my final altitude to 2,002. Speed should be stabilizing now, so I can put the speed brakes back off. To lower the speed to 165, 170 will be fine, and I'm going to deploy the first stage of flaps. Aircraft turning to the next sector. Auto throttles now maintaining my speed because I've put flaps out. Now hovering around 170, aiming at 2,200. I'm now at my intercept height. Here is the end of the ILS of Cardiff. When I get around about here, I am going to set the localizer active. My present heading is 264. Set the heading just in case anything goes pear-shaped. You can just begin to see the ground through the mist now, a little bit of the ground here. I'll make another gentle turn here now. And as I approach the end of the next sector, I will switch the ILS intercept on for the localizer. Now, here is the localizer needle, and here is the glide slope needle. So when I switch the localizer on, I'm going to monitor this. And that needle should move gently to the center and eventually be vertical, showing me that I am aiming for the center of the runway. Now I'm very close to the ILS, so now I'm going to switch to localizer. The navigation switch came off. I'm going to reduce this even further now. 155. Now I need to monitor this needle. It's beginning to move now, so it's intercepted that ILS frequency. Now you need to be patient. It doesn't happen very quickly. Give it time for it to turn. The aircraft is turning to that ILS beam. Be patient. Let it do it. By the time I get to the end of that green arrow, that's where the glide slope intercept will occur. When this starts to move down and approaches the center, I am going to switch that selector knob to the GS Auto. Okay, now this is beginning to move down. So I now need to do the following. I need to set this to GS Auto so that it will capture that. And I'm going to set my landing speed 150, and I'm going to put gear down. Now the aircraft will try and follow these two lines. Needle is centered here. I need to go a little lower to pick this glide slope up. Now this will take me almost to the ground. I'll have to fly the last few hundred feet manually. I'm going to change the view to the pilot view. Allow the GPS to guide you to within a few hundred feet of the runway, then switch all the autopilot function 100 feet manually. Around about at 155 knots, touchdown speed, full flaps, and aim for the center. Reverse thrust, spoilers. And welcome to Cardiff Airport.